Well, good morning, everybody. Well, hello, everybody. Yes, as you saw from the intro, we're here in Chorley, a small market town. First market was held in 1498 on the edge of Greater Manchester and just sort of sticking into Lancashire. We've come to Chorley to have a wander around. It's a place that's very famous for the Chorley cake, which is very similar to the Eccles cake. But the reason I say that is because I haven't a clue what a Chorley cake is. I'm going to try one anyway, get into the town. And also, it's very famous here for the very large munitions factory in nearby Euxton during the Second World War, where it made all sorts of lovely explosive-y things to try and keep the Germans at bay. And it's also home to the largest... Can you hear the bus? Every time I try, some bus goes by. Well, it means it's a good bus service, I suppose. But it's also home to the largest Latter-day Saints temple in Europe. They call it the Preston Mormon Church. So we'll head off into the town, have a look, and we'll see what we can find. Well, straight away we're greeted by the rather nice finish on these little shops. And next door is Victoria Street with the quite nice Queen's. Nice looking building. One of the churches in the town. I spy one with a bigger spire further down, so I presume that might be the Parish Church. And then as we come across here to the other side of the road, we can see that with all its bunting leading down into the town, it looks very pleasant. Oh, there's something nice to see. Naughty me got chatting with some lovely bird spotters, and I disturbed the poor lady who was trying to get a picture of the peregrines, so I'm duly embarrassed and I do apologise to the lady, and she did correct me. Yes, this is not the Parish Church. This is all very pleasant, and I see that there's a family living here, you know, Sky Sports. They live there. Let's get down into the town centre and stop messing around. Just phoned my friend Ronnie. He said this is nothing to do with him. And in the Baptist Chapel of 1848, we have Marilyn Manson. By the way, Ken Morley comes from Chorley. There, I'm a poet, you didn't know it. Who's Ken Morley? Well, he was Mr. Holsworth from Coronation Street, who went on to find fame and fortune shouting out of our television sets about windows. And while I'm at it, Henry Tate, he of the famous gallery where you can buy a dirty unmade bed for, what was it, £130,000. He was born here in the town. Also John Fox, he was the original lead singer of Ultravox, and plainly Vienna meant nothing to him either, you know, don't think he particularly cared. And who have we got else? Let me just have a quick think and a glance. Yes, Phil Cool, the rubber-faced comedian. He also hails from the town. Bill Beaumont, there's another one, the rugby man, captain of England. Incidentally, a lot of various rugby national and football national captains and also managers and trainers, they all came from Chorley. So I don't know what the fuss is really about Chorley, but from what I've seen so far, it's a lovely town. Let's get exploring and stop yakking. And where we've just come down from, that's the main thoroughfare, the pedestrian thoroughfare. We can see there's more shops down there. It's very pleasant market town. And then if we turn around past the Parish of St. Mary's Church, we can see it goes up there to, I presume, the town hall that is signalling, for some strange reason, 11:15. Quite unusual, we've got this sort of archway affair, and if we turn around we can see in the grounds, well, it seems to me to be the grounds, I might be wrong, of the church, we've got some little businesses. And there's the church itself with its little odd match spires. Oh, quite an interesting church, architecturally. I have a sneaking suspicion I've been slipped a Mickey. I don't think this is the Parish Church because, for a start, it's RC. And from up here, the one I've just come from with the peregrine falcons seems to be quite impressive on its own. What a wonderful tongue-in-cheek name. Chick Happens. Nice building as well for a modern one. And next door, what have we got? And next door to where Chick Happens, I love that name, is another Chick Happens, and that's the constituency office of, yes, the Speaker of the House, the jet-setting Sir Lindsay Hoyle. And just beside his office we can see another little pedestrian area with the closed markets at the top. I plainly picked a non-market day, but still very pleasant. We've got the big bargain store. That's a bit threatening, so I think I'll go into the small bargain store later. Ah, here we have Dolce and Blush. What a nice name. I thought this was the town hall, but it's not. It's the Harmony Club. That girl is wearing Harmony hairspray. No, I won't give adverts. Nice building, but it is beside the real town hall. Let's go and have a look. Yes, it has to be the town hall because of the carbuncle behind it. And yes, the town hall in all its glory. And just opposite the town hall and accompanying carbuncle, we have found the real Parish Church. And I should have realised actually it's bound to be the Parish Church because le flag sont flying. And a lovely kept Parish Church it is too. Quite delightful. A little bit of Latin on the round table stuck on the side of the church. Hey, what's up, flower? And they've even got here some caged wild lights. Presumably they have to keep those caged because they could attack you at any moment. I better get out of here. Nice little Moorish style arch on the side of the church and a little pride of place memorial. Sadly, can't get in to see the windows from the inside, but they look quite interesting stained glass. That's lovely to see. Everybody welcome, and why not? I see here we've got the Mayflower. Not quite in its full form of glory, but a Mayflower is a Mayflower. Just met one of the volunteers of the church at the Multi-Faith Centre, and he said, please come in and have a look at the church. So that's what I'm going to do. Well, here's a lovely stained glass window just as you come into the entrance of the church. And I've just been informed by one of the volunteers that the connection with the Mayflower is on the right there is Miles Standish from the Mayflower. And this here was his original pew. And down here we have, just tucked in the back, is an original Saxon font that was dug up that's hundreds of years old. And this is what you could deem as the entrance to the church, which is very lovely. Nice archway. It's many hundreds of years old, according to the gentleman, but he told me so many facts that I couldn't keep up with it. What a lovely environment for a service. Absolutely delightful. These lovely old churches, they just fascinate me.
7 days a week.
Oh, there, you just heard the gentleman say, open 7 days a week. Now, to those of you who can't wash an IKEA glass without breaking it, that little piece of stained glass in the middle is original, and it's from, wait for this, 1362. And this is the stained glass window at the back, one of the older ones. This is a little quiet sort of, I suppose you might say, small community little space for prayers that backs onto the main church. These relics are the bones of St. Lawrence back in 1442 when Oliver Cromwell and the Reformation came along and put bones of a donkey on display and buried poor Sir Lawrence elsewhere. It may just seem to be a triangle of stars behind glass, but this is the flag that flew on the White House for Joe Biden's inauguration. I kid you not. And it was presented to the church by, as you can see here, Nancy Pelosi. Oh, you get such, honestly, what information you get from me. Oh, really, I should charge for this. And the little shop where I'm going to now have a little browse. And then just before we leave, This was brought to my attention, which I didn't see because I have a habit of looking up and not looking down. That's the Standish family. This was their parish church and, well, look it up, Mayflower, all that sort of stuff. Well, that was an absolutely fascinating hour talking to the volunteers in the church, steeped in such ridiculous history, and the Standish family and everything else, the flag. Oh gosh, it's wonderful. I just had a quick cup of tea and some carrot cake, care of the volunteers, and yes, a little bit of a donation. You have to keep it going. And now let's get cracking back into the town. Oh no, I've just spied a Booth's supermarket, and I'm not going back home until much later on via a visit somewhere. Oh, never mind. Nearly qualified for the misspelt name, leaving out the A cross. Nice shop though, all the same. The quite majestic looking Central Library. And a fine building it is too. Lovely detailing, as is always the case with these old buildings. Goodness me, we've got the clash of the titans here. On one side we've got Booths, and on the other, M&S Food Hall. I bet there's fights here in the car park. And beside Booths, I have been satiated with, yes, I found a Spoons, and no less dedicated to Sir Henry Tate, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. He of the Tate Gallery, the bricks, and Tracy Emin's unmade bed. Actually, a thought just struck me. Instead of paying 130 grand or whatever it was for Tracy Emin's unmade bed, I just changed mine last night. If anybody wants it, it's yours for 90 grand. And it's clean. Couldn't resist shoving this Yamaha motorcycle in. It's R registered first time round, so it's a fair number of years. Sorry, can't be bothered looking up exactly when R was. And that's where we came up from. Oh, Miss Nails. No, mine are there. No, I don't miss them at all. This is plainly the more modern end of the town. Let's have a wander up towards ye old Iceland, not the country, and see what we can see. And that's where we've come up from. And yes, this is very pleasant, isn't it? Nice, modern, and not too in your face. Shopping centre there at the bottom end, I presume. Oh, I genuinely didn't realise that peacocks were still going. You learn something new every day. And I promise no cheap jokes about Theopatitis, or however you pronounce his surname. And like any town, you come round via your Pound Bakery, your B&M, and your Boots, and then a little mini fight between mobile shops. What a lovely little modern shopping centre. Just very, very pleasant. And then that's down to the markets, which sadly are closed today. Oh, a Manchester bee out in Chorley that's only a shadow of its former self. Now there's a delight to the eye, a real butcher. And we mentioned Mr. Holdsworth from Coronation Street. There's his brother, on guard. Well, there's certainly a few things on here in Chorley. And if you want to come to Flower Show, you know where to come to. Unusual street furniture. I bet there's a lot of TikTokers who come along and say, "What's that, mummy?" It's a book. "What's a book, mummy?" Huh, body care. I'd need a mortgage to them to care for my body. Gosh, Elon Musk gets everywhere. Look, he's taken over the travel agent with out of these world deals. Travel by Tesla. A more modern council building in Chorley. Now look, if there's one thing that gets my goat and my cow and my giraffe, it's these idiots who deface war memorials. If it wasn't for these heroes, they wouldn't be here now. Although I think when all's said and done, some of them we wish wouldn't be here now because they don't contribute anything to the fabric of society. Onwards and forwards we go. Just spied something snuck away behind the council building. Oh, it's a Sabbath school, or should I say a Sunday school, of course, in modern language, 1836. And it's dedicated to Sir Walter Norman Haworth. And he got a Nobel Prize for Chemistry in 1937. So shove that in your pipette and suck it up. Nice little row of artisan dwellings in ostensibly the centre of the town. Well, you can see the modern golf, minibar and bowling and what have you there. And here's the side view of the council building, the working council building, which I must say, as council buildings go, it's quite pleasant. It just struck me actually wandering around. Of course, Peter Kay had an impact on Chorley because he, in one of his comedy series, was DJing for Chorley Radio. And I went there and was going to start with Chorley myself, but sadly they had a problem and had to shut down. Nothing to do with me, nothing to do with me, I assure you. Wouldn't you just love to grab one of those and then just head off and live all around the country? Although the postman would have one heck of a job delivering to you. Ah, just spied the tool station. That must be the constituency office for Jeremy Corbyn. Just dropped in for a coffee into the famous Greg's. I do wish they'd get it that it can't be new and improved, because if it's new it means it was never around before. It needs to be newly improved Greg's. That's how you say it. Well, the sun belteth down and it's a glorious 23 degrees, and against my better judgment, because Chorley's not the biggest town in the world, I decided to make my way to what is the biggest Mormon Temple in Europe. And we're just nearly there, and this is what I have ahead of me. There seems to be a sign in which might save some walking. Nice pathway in. And there she blows. Well, these appear to be the gardens, which are, I think you'll have to agree, absolutely beautiful. A lovely riot of colours. Wherever you look, beautiful flowers. I miss a garden, but certainly not the upkeep of one. And what a lovely, well-kept parking area, which reflects on the dress code of the brethren and sisterin from the Mormons when they call on you. And unlike some, they know which flag to fly because they know which country they're in. Well, oh my giddy aunt, the largest Church of Latter-day Saints temple in Europe. And I can well believe it. It is enormous. Coming up on a lovely little water feature outside the temple, and workmen busy making the grounds look good. And here we are, here's another view. I'll widen the angle so you can see. It is immense. And there's even a bigger lily pond over here with more delightful flower features beside the temple. Must go back to this building, it's just absolutely immense. Oh, just look at these lovely roses in the wall planters surrounding the temple. Absolutely lovely. And here's a side view of the temple to give you an idea of the size. Sorry, it's going to go into the sun. What an enormous building. Let's go around the back before we leave. So busy looking at the lovely roses that I missed the topiary. Yes, madam, that's, the Turkish barber equivalent of looking after your shrubs. Just, no money laundering. No, I never said that. I never said that. And there's a quick view from the back. A mammoth building. Some more lovely, colourful shrubbery. I have to call them purple things and white things because I'm about as knowledgeable of gardening as some of the members of Parliament are about being politicians. And there we are, a final back view of the church or temple, whatever you might call it. The gardeners were telling me that the grass will become a little more lush. They had to replace it all because it was absolutely chock-a-block with meadow grass, which meant a complete replant, and there's a fair bit of acreage to replant, but they've done an excellent job. And then one final view before we depart. They definitely come from a land down under because it's men at work. I know I can be a bit of a bore, or a bore, B-O-O-R, B-O-R-E, however you want to say the word, when it comes to the likes of churches, especially seeing as I'm completely irreligious myself, but I do respect others. All I have to say is, when it comes to small local parish churches, please do visit your local one, have a look round, maybe make a little bit of a donation, because as Joni Mitchell sang in The Big Yellow Taxi, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And sadly, there's some people here in this country who would like to see it gone. Interesting stone acorny thing. And I've just spied a little bit of a park over there. Let's go and have a look. Although I do wonder what's down there, but the problem is, easy going down, but how about getting back up? Glad I didn't go down there. There seems to be an award-winning pub. Doesn't look very award-winning to me, but who am I to complain? And a nice little legal practice. All together now. It's been going since nearly 7:20. Sorry, the old jokes are the worst. Now, these are the gates I mentioned that I spied from the town. It seems it's called Astley Park. And, well, let's go and have a look inside. We've got some of those nice Jehovah's Witnesses there on the left. In fact, I'm going to say hello and just be nice, because probably nobody ever speaks to them. Well, I'm glad I stopped to have a little chat with those two lovely Jehovah's Witness ladies. They told me that this here is not only just Astley Park, but there's Astley Hall and a wall garden and a coffee shop. Busting for a drink now. And I've just spied here. We'll just have a quick look at the memorial garden as you come in here into the park. Under the shade of the trees. Really very nice. And here's a view down to the park. Or should I say through the park? Let's get wandering. Lovely open space, just, as I say, really 5 minutes walk, is it, from the bus station? If that. So we'll go and have a look. We've also got some magnificent men in their mowing machines, now that the summer is nearly here. And here we have a sensory garden. Oh, looks very interesting. Oh, what an absolutely terrific idea. Fabulous. And it looks a nice little garden. Oh, the smells are lovely, to be quite honest. Even a monument to the lionesses. Oh no, sorry, that's a seal, isn't it? It's not a lion. And just a little bit of a context with regards to the actual size of the place. Yeah, it's quite big. Onwards and forwards, here we go. I'm just hoping, with it being called Astley Hall, that Rick doesn't pop out and say he doesn't want to give me up. It's actually very reminiscent of the approach in Heaton Park in Prestwich in Manchester. Some nice medieval fencing, dating back to at least, well, a few weeks ago. Oh, this rather large beech tree has been sectioned off. It seems it has something called Meripula giganteus, some sort of fungus thing. And yes, you're correct. You can hear water, and there's a lovely little water feature, and there's Rick Astley House itself. There's something very relaxing about watching water do its thing. Although, at my age, the sound of running water can have tumultuous effects. And there's a lovely view of the front of Astley House. And a fine old building it is too. I must say, one heck of a setting for your stately home. With your fountain in the front and your Wonderful personal driveway. Well, one has to wonder if they had cycle lanes in the days when Astley Hall was first built. I doubt it somehow. Right, we better make steps. I have a feeling my carriage awaits. Just to say thank you very much for accompanying me on my ramble around the town of Chorley. As you've probably noticed, it's not the biggest in the land, but a very, very pleasant town indeed. And I enjoyed the hospitality and the help and chatting with total strangers who gave me a little bit of insight into the town itself. So all that remains for me to say is thank you for joining me and